April. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a 1989 beat-em-up arcade game released by Konami. It is based on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, including the first animated series that began airing 2 years earlier. In the game, up to 4 players control the Ninja Turtles, fighting through various levels to defeat the Turtles' enemies, including the Shredder, Krang, and the Foot Clan. Released at the height of the popularity for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, the arcade game was a worldwide hit, becoming the highest grossing dedicated arcade game of 1990 in the United States and Konami's highest grossing arcade game. The player chooses from one of the 4 Ninja Turtles, depending on the version of the game. The characters are either chosen via an in-game select screen or based on which coin slot the player placed their credit into. After Shredder kidnaps the Turtles' friend April O'Neil and their mentor Splinter, they must give chase, save their comrades and defeat the evil Shredder. Up to 4 players, or 2 in some versions, can take control of any of the Turtles. Most of the enemies the Turtles face are the Foot Soldiers, all colour coded to indicate their attack patterns and weapon of choice. The palette swap of the Foot Soldiers was easy to get away with in this game, as all of the foot were meant to look the same anyway. The bosses in the game include Rocksteady and Bebop, Krang and Shredder himself. The game was released as a 4-player version in most regions, but in Japan it was originally released as a 2-player version of the game, and then released globally as a 2 or 4-player cabinet. The game was a massive success for Konami, so much so, in fact, they could not keep up with the demand for the machine, and so production was outsourced to Dynamo Corp. The game received another boost in popularity when the movie was released in the States in 1990. In the US, it was the biggest arcade hit since The Terrible Double Dragon, which was released in 1987. In the UK, the game was hugely successful, where it was rebranded as Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles to match the cartoon title. The word ninja was considered a nasty by UK media, hence the rebranding. In terms of playability, the game was extremely simple, with only 2 buttons and no complicated fight mechanics to speak of, but it was very playable. The best way to play Ninja Turtles, in fact, some would say the only way to play it, was in the 4-player cabinet. With 3 mates, the game was a right laugh. The screen would become overcrowded with enemies, however, and it did make it difficult to follow the action at times. The challenge the game presented was massive. For a start off, no matter where I found this game in arcades, 1 credit got you 1 life. In Joker's Amusements in Paisley, where I would play this game, it was 30p a credit, but in some arcades like Treasure Island it was 50p a go, which I considered to be just a bit too much. The overall look and feel of the game is awesome. The visuals were bright and colourful, just like the cartoon it was based on. The sprites all resembled characters from the show and were well detailed for the time. Other games that were out at this time were a bit darker in appearance, so this really helped Ninja Turtles stand out from the other games, and boy did this game stand out. The 4-player cabinet was huge. Where most arcades would have cabinets closely stacked together, you could not do this with the Ninja Turtles cabinet. If you were playing as Leo or Raph, the viewing angle was slightly annoying, but not enough to put you off playing the game. If the sight of the cabinet didn't grab your attention, the attract sequence certainly did. The sound in the intro was loud, and the animated intro looked like it had come straight from the cartoon show itself. The in-game sounds were not as good. There were plenty of explosions and clangs and bangs. The music was not the best, and besides from the music on the opening level, the rest of the in-game music didn't really fit the theme of the game. There was plenty of digitised speech to be heard, none of which was recorded by the voice actors from the show, but it still managed to add to the atmosphere of the game. This was a game I really enjoyed having a bash at. I was never a fan of the Turtles cartoon series. Compared to the original Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird comics, the cartoon was a little too childish. But the one thing I have always appreciated about the Turtles franchise is the sense of humour between the teenagers, and the arcade did a good job of this, with witty comments when falling down manholes and the like.
Who put the lights out?
The game did receive ports to various systems, but I never played any of those, and thankfully it looks like I wasn't missing out on much. At the time of the arcade release, Konami were deep in bed with Nintendo, and with me being a Sega fanboy at this point, I knew I wasn't ever going to get to play it at home. Thank God years later for emulation, that's all I can say. So, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a game I go back and play often? Well, from time to time I do. It's not the best game in 1 or even 2 player, but it's great in 4 player. But trying to get 3 of your mates to find the time to play it is tough. I guess they've all surrendered their man cards to their wives. In closing, Ninja Turtles is a great game. It holds a lot of nostalgia for me, and I still get a kick out of playing it today. And I strongly recommend anyone to give it a go, even if you're not a fan of the Turtles, like Shredder. That's all from me, folks. If you like this video, then please feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching.